Hello friends, I am Enterprise Architecture and we are back here playing Oceanblock 2. Now, Geekier Gamer and I had been playing through this mod pack together, but unfortunately due to our schedules not quite matching up, we are now breaking off and doing separate playthroughs from here on out. But I still have a lot of quests to cover, so today we're going to be building a new base away from that base we'd been building together, and moreover we're going to be completing a few more quests on our quest line. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So first things first, we are back here at my original spawn point, which happened to just be in the middle of the water here. I didn't actually get the same crash pad spawn that Geek got, so I don't know why I ended up with nothing, but I've been trying to cobble together a little bit of a space to work here in between episodes. So I'm working with this aesthetic where I've got these strip bamboo logs to kind of be like pontoons for all of the various boat pieces to kind of be floating on. So I'm assuming I would have just found random pieces of wood and I was cobbling it together and lashing it onto these bamboo strips so that they can kind of like float above the water. I'm using the spruce trapdoors to kind of give me this walkways that kind of look like they're bound together as well. I really like the way that that looks. So I put together a small little hydroponic garden here. I've got my sluicing facility over there, although it's not hooked up to any sort of drawers yet. And I also built this weird, I don't know, flotsam and jetsam sort of piece of garbage here to have a little bit of dirt on it so that I can actually grow some plants as well. And got some more sugarcane growing over there in addition to the bamboo. I personally love the look of the strip bamboo. I think it looks really good. Oh, and it looks like we've got an airdrop coming in. I'll have to get back to that later. One quick thing I wanted to follow up on that I had mentioned in a previous episode, I had been complaining about Just Dire things not rendering if you have shaders turned on, like you can't see the actual block transformation, and apparently you could actually turn that on using a configuration in Monocle. So I'm going to pop up a screenshot right now that you'll be able to see. If you could just go and edit this Monocle configuration file that's in your config folder, you'll be able to turn on rendering for Just Dire things and any other mods that you find that are working weirdly with shaders. It basically allows these unknown shaders to work. So it gives you more compatibility if you're using Iris and the shaders. So definitely turn that on. Works real well. I haven't noticed any performance issues with it so far, but it's worth checking that out. I think for our first little bit of base we're going to build here, I really just want to build myself a place to sleep. Like I want to have a little rest and relaxation area here, kind of off the side of this sort of space so that I have, you know, just at least a bed, a place to call home while we are building. So I think I'm going to get started today with building that first. So to get started with our base build, I think what I want to do is come off the side of our platform here and start putting together some sort of a like bamboo raft sort of situation here. I think I'm going to have a couple of pontoons that sit out on the side, and we're going to use that to kind of be the basis of this. And I want it to be basically right at water level here. Now, I am using the framed blocks mod as well because I think that'll really help this look nice. So we can then skin these to be however we want. So I think from there, we're going to want to use a couple of our framed slabs here so that we can kind of give these just a little bit of a step up before we build the main platform, just like that. And then from there, we can actually start laying out what's going to be the base of this, the actual floor of our new room that we're going to be staying in, our little hut. So let's go ahead and put a few more down here, and we're just going to lay this out basically to be the floor. Just like this. Wonderful. And again, I think that the look of this bamboo really makes this kind of fit in with the theme that we're going for here. Looks really beachy, which is what we really want to see. There, so that's going to give us our main actual space that we're going to have for living in. And then next thing we want to do is probably put up a little bit of some walls here. Now, bamboo is a great building material in real life as well because it's nice, it's sustainable, it grows very, very rapidly, and it's easy to grow, and so you can replenish it very quickly if you're using it for building things. So I think it's a great eco-friendly material to have around. Obviously, it's used in a lot of different buildings, and there's a lot of different things that can be done that's interesting with it, but And with that all done, it gives me a nice place to go and sit out here and do some fishing. We've got our nice little seats on the back end here. I've trimmed it out a little bit with a little bit more bamboo trim and also added some lovely cyan fittings, a cyan bed, those lovely pennants hanging in the front there to kind of give me a little bit of a curtain view. And I really think this looks really nice, and I can look out over the ocean as I go to sleep and rest in the evening. It's a very nice place to be living. So we still have a ways to go in the Steaming Ahead quest line. There's a bunch of stuff that we need to create, and some of these things have some prerequisites that we do not have access to yet. So I really need to focus on getting my base set up so that we can start doing some of these things we've missed out on. Particularly getting ready to get some smelting with our mechanism and Ender.io before we can move on to pneumatic craft, which Geek had started working on for us. We also need to get stuff set up for Immersive Engineering. But what I really want to focus on today is getting the Actually Editions Atomic Reconstructor so that we have an easy way to get soul sand from regular sand. We can just shoot lasers at it. If you watched our Techopolis 3 playthrough, you are familiar with lasering from Actually Editions. But to get to that point, we need to be able to generate some power here. Now, I have all of the machines that we need from Oritech to be able to get our power setup going, but I do not have the megatorches that Geek now has at his base. So I need a safe source of our steam, or excuse me, safe source of heat so that we can make lava. Now, a decent source of heat for us is going to be to have a magma block. I don't have megatorches because Geek has all the megatorches, but I can make magma blocks pretty easily because I can make magma cream with the blaze from his setup, or the shared setup we had, and now this gives us access to the magma blocks from just that blaze cream. And that is a temperature source for us that is 100% efficient. Again, not as good as a megatorch, but it'll certainly do. And unlike lava, it won't light my base on fire if I want to put it down near some things that are blocks made of wood. So that's going to be our primary source of heat. I'm going to go over here to this new platform I've built. I think I'm going to put this down over in, say, this corner here, so that we have a nice safe place to put that. Now, on top of that, of course, we can then put our tempered glass jar, and on top of that can then go our jar automator, not jaw automator. Okay, great. So that gives us access to that jar. Now the jar is going to start making lava for us. So we do need to put our lava tank on the side of that. And now this needs to know how to make lava. So what we're going to do here is put our cobblestone generator on top of our spruce drawer. And then we're going to use an item pipe to pull in the items from there. So this is now just going to be making infinite lava for us really quickly, or at least relatively quickly. That's going to work well. Now, we are also going to need a source of water so that we can make steam. So the lava we're going to use for a variety of different things, but water I don't think we're going to have that many uses for. So I'm going to put this over here. Now, our longtime friend Blackest Dawn stopped by, and he told me that we can use floppers in this pack. This is a great way of bringing water out of the world and into our containers. So much like a hopper, we can use this to keep water where we want it. So I think what we'll do here is set up a little teeny tiny infinite water source, and then we will use the flopper to put that water into this tank here. So let's go ahead and make that real quick. I'm just going to do this the really silly way, which is I'm going to use some trapdoors to hold everything in place. All right, so now we should just be able to make an infinite water source here. It looks like, no, I screwed that up. That is not what we want to do. This is now waterlogged this block. We instead want to make sure that this is putting the water directly onto this spot. So what we can do here is actually go ahead and put blocks on top, and then we can dump our water from beneath. There we go. That'll work nicely. And just like that, we now have an infinite water source that can then fill up our tank, and we don't need to worry about that anymore. Great, so now infinite water is ours. Again, thanks Blackest Dawn for the tip, as always. Always appreciated. Okay, so now all we have to do is grab up our various pieces of our magmatic boiler and get this set up. So it's been a second since I've had to set one of these up. I think I may have just put this on backwards, but we're gonna try it anyway. There we go. Oritech just has the best animations. It's so good. All right, and I think we can put the steam boiler add-on on the back there, and then it's just a question of running our fluid pipes to this. So I think this goes on this side, And then I think this goes on that side. And yeah, there we go. Now our magmatic boiler is kicking things off. That means we are getting steam out of this side. That can then go into our steam engine. We just need to place this appropriately. And it doesn't look like we can rotate it. So it's just really a question of making sure you put it down the right way in the first place. Let's put it like this. And then we're going to go ahead and put our machine cores around it like that. There we go. And with any luck, as soon as we click this, yeah, there we go. This is already getting steam and that is doing its job. Perfect. Okay, so this is now going to give us liquid steam. And from that, we can start making electricity. Now, during our various adventures, we did indeed get our black quartz that we need for our atomic reconstructor. So let's go ahead and make ourselves up an iron casing, and then we can make that atomic reconstructor real easy, just like that. And now we have access to lasers. Let's go ahead and grab up a couple of pieces of sand off of here. I'm looking at these the wrong way. That's why I can't see sand. Let's see, let's do 4 right here. And in theory, we should be able to run an electric cable right off the edge of our steam engine. Let's go ahead and do that over here. I think what we'll do is use the energy pipes that we got from Oritech. We put that down just like this. And then our atomic reconstructor should be able to go right here. Now we do need to get a redstone torch or a lever. Oh, it sounds like it's already going. That's a really good sign. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and dump all of this sand down there. Perfect. And now we have soul sand. We do need to go ahead and deactivate that laser though, because otherwise it's going to just keep going over and over and over again. I think a lever is going to be the simplest way to deal with that. So let's go ahead and make ourselves up one lever real quick here, just like that. And we can slap this right on top just to turn that off. So that will control the flow of power into this. There, perfect. Now this is off and our power is going to start building back up momentarily. All right, so the last thing I want to do is get these garden cloches set up, because this is going to be really helpful for us to automate growing stuff. Particularly, I would love to just be able to automate wood here. Now, I'm going to skip over the vacuum tube recipe here because I do not have my foundry set up yet, so I can't make those nickel plates easily. But I did bring over a bunch of iron plates, and I did actually accidentally bring over some Invar from the other base when I was setting everything up here in the first place, so we should have most everything that we need to make the garden cloche. So let's get started first by making our basic engineering blocks. Those are going to be a basic thing that we're going to need for a lot of the machines here. We're going to need an incandescent light bulb, and for that we need bamboo, glass, and copper. So we have some copper, we have glass, and we have bamboo. That's easier for us than paper right now, or at least we have a bunch on hand without having to make any paper. So let's go ahead and throw this in here and see if we can't. Oh, we need 3 bamboo. That's why this isn't working. Let's grab 3 of those. There we go. And we can just slap this in. Now we can make our incandescent light bulbs. I don't remember those being a part of this recipe, so it must be that this version is requiring it. I don't remember this in the older versions of Immersive Engineering. And we can also go ahead and make up some of our iron mechanical components real quick. We're going to need that. Getting a little tongue twisted this late at night, but that's fine. We will still persevere here. And there is our garden cloche. So I'm going to have to poke at this a little bit to remember how to set it up. Every single time I tend to forget, but I believe that this gets power from the back and then water from the side here. So I think what we can do is set it up something like maybe like this. Oh, that's not going to work. And I apparently just hit myself as well. Can I turn you around? No, I cannot. Okay, let's go ahead and break this and try and see if we can't figure out how to get this rotated properly. I think maybe this way? Maybe this is the way that we want it. All right, I think I've got this sorted out. Power is coming in from the top. Water is coming from our tank here on the back. That seems to be working just fine for us here. And actually, we can even make this a little bit more efficient by doing this. Great. And now all we have to do is start loading this in with our various plants that we want to add. I think I'm going to start with spruce logs as our basic thing that we want to produce to begin with, just because I keep running out of wood. Of course, we are in the middle of the ocean. That should not surprise anyone. Mineral might be a good thing to do later as well. I am 99% sure that we have a spruce tree or two with us somewhere in here. It actually looks like saplings cannot be grown with the garden cloche in this, so that's somewhat annoying because that means I can't just grow wood easily. But what I can do instead here is get started with my mystical agricultural inferium seeds. So let's grab up some inferium seeds there. I'd also lucked out, and from our drops, we got some of our blaze bloom soil and our primogen soil. So I believe that these can be used inside of the garden cloche as well. So let's go ahead and try and set this up real quick. I think we can put that there. I think we can put this there. And yes, this should now start growing slowly but surely. We can see the plant going here. So our grand plan here was missing one important thing. That is a fluid trash can. The reason why we need that is because our steam engine over there does produce water as an output. And if you don't have a place to put it, then it just backs up in the machine. So we do need to go ahead and put this on right like that. This is now working, that is now working, this is now growing, and momentarily we should be getting our first ingredients in here. There is our inferium essence, and everything is working perfectly. Well, friends, we got a lot done, and most importantly, we finally have a place to call home and relax. So I'm just going to enjoy the rest of the afternoon here in my lovely little villa that I've set up here, my lovely little hut on the ocean. And next episode, hopefully I'll have gotten a few more of our machines set up that we are going to need from the other base, including our foundry and all of those bits and bobs. So we'll be ready to kind of power through the rest of the quest line. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends!